Hey everybody, welcome to eachother.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Yakima OverHaul bed rack system here on our 2020 Jeep Gladiator. So this is going to be an excellent way, guys, of giving us a pretty modular system here that can double up as just a regular bed rack system, or we can raise it up and start utilizing it in its ladder rack style. So really like the versatility of this guy. I think that's what really starts setting it apart. Of course, you have something like the Yakima OutPost system, and basically all that is going to be a fixed tower system. So if you guys aren't needing that adjustable length, but I think you guys are going to be really big fans of this adjustable system just because it gives you that whole range of versatility, right? I can lower this down, I can get my bike carriers up on here, and what's awesome about it, I still have all that access to my bed, right? I'm not losing on that cargo space. So I got the best of both worlds when it comes to ladder rack or a bed rack system, and I think it looks pretty stylish doing it. We do have a black powder coat finish here on our aluminum construction, so what's going to be nice, obviously it can be very resistant to any kind of corrosion. Now, one thing I'll say about black powder coat, though, if we're not being a little gentle to it, it can end up scratching and pitting, and that's just mainly from metallic items being thrown on here. And to that end, if we're just being a little bit more careful with it, I think we're going to see this guy last us for the years to come. And of course, we do have that aluminum construction underneath, so we know our structure on the bottom is definitely going to be nice and solid, which is great. We do have our HD bars on here, which is kind of giving us that weight capacity that we're looking for. Speaking of that, we do have a 500-pound on-road capability and a 300-pound off-road weight capacity. So really like to see that. And again, those are going to be dynamic loads. So this is still going to be excellent for something like a tent or something. And then later at night, we can crawl up in it, have a nice little spot to relax. So, I mean, the world of possibilities is pretty endless with this guy, which is great. Speaking one more time to the bars as well, we do have our HD end caps here. Nice little tie-off points for us to go ahead and help securing any of our loads. And to that end, on the underneath here of our bars, you can see we have this open channel. Now that's going to make it a little easier for us to actually get our bars on and adjusted. But what's pretty cool about this too, this allows you to have a lot of customization options. With that end, I see a lot of people putting eye-rings in here, load stoppers, anything else we really need on the bottom. And not to mention, on the very top of here too, we do have a T-track system. So really like how that works. We're going to have the availability of putting almost any of those accessories that we need on here. And what's great, this is pretty future-proof because I think you're going to see a lot of accessories going to this way. Now the one kind of caveat I'll say about the HD bars, they are just a little bit wider, a little bit thicker, and that's kind of where we're getting all that strength from. But to that end, sometimes it makes it a little harder for your clamp-on accessories to actually get on here. So that's the only thing I'd really watch. But again, as long as we're kind of accounting for our HD bars and utilizing that T-slot position, I think we're going to have a good time. Now, one thing I really like about this system as well is its quick connect and disconnect system. How that works, all we got to do, back off our plates here with our included tool. That's going to expose this plate as you're seeing. Now what's cool about that, of course, you can loosen up the other side and you can actually lift both of your towers out, keeping your position set, setting it somewhere in your garage. That way, if you have it, needing it to be off your vehicle for a little bit, you can. And then we just got to simply walk it right back in, set it in place, and then we just tighten up our plate again to hold it into position. So really like how that works. And we actually do have 2 locking cores that come with this because we don't want anybody just walking up, taking our rack off. All we simply have to do, take your locking core, set it on there, lock it up, of course, and that way it'll stay nice and secure. Now what's awesome about this guy, it really doesn't take us too much time to actually get installed. Let us go ahead and see how we can get our rack on here. To begin your installation, you want to start with your foot pads. Here, we're going to have this little bolt. We're also going to have that rectangular spacer. We're going to need to insert it just like so. And then, keeping our long track in mind for our rear positions and kind of reversing this for our ones more towards our cab, we simply take our bolt and our spacer, set it in place. And now we need to take our little clamp here. We have a little rubber stopper to go towards the inside of our side rail. And now we just start threading on our bolt. It can be helpful just to hold the spacer up at first, just until you can get it started. And as you start getting lower and lower, we're going to need to grab our included tools as well and start tightening this up. So now that I have that set in there, I'm simply going to take our wrench and begin to tighten it up. You want to keep your bracket as far apart from each other as you can, so I'm going to be setting this one towards the most rear. Now I'm not going to tighten all the way, as I still want to be able to A, make sure that my clamp is in the right position, but B, I want to make sure I can tighten this other side without kind of making it a little awkward for myself. So like I said, just hold on to that clamp, tighten up, and secure your foot pad. With our pad installed, what we need to do is open up this plate. To do that, use your included tools once again just to back off your front positions here, and that's going to allow this plate to fall down out of the way. And then we just simply take our posts or our towers, set them in place here, walk that up, and tighten it. Now we need to take our included tools and tighten that up once more, that way it's nice and secure. Now you guys might be wondering, where do I want to set my towers and pads? Well, that's where it's going to be a little bit up to us. Everybody's going to have different requirements for their own accessories at home, whether they be minimum or maximum requirements between your crossbars. Good rule of thumb, just set it more towards your cab as you can. And the big thing to take note, make sure you're measuring equidistant measurements between your side rails. That way your bars line up and you have an A-OK time. Again, gonna be a little up to us, but what's nice, we have our quick connect. We can make it really easy to get this shifted around and put exactly where we need it. Well, now that both of our towers are up, we can go ahead and actually start setting in our bars. To do that, all you have to do to prep your bars, take off one of your end caps, throw the 2 little brackets that are included inside of it. That's gonna make it a lot easier to actually get installed. So that's what we're going to be tying into. And so our bracket is just that rectangular bracket up inside here. And basically what we're going to do is make sure our overhang is correctly. So how can we do that? Well, it's going to be really helpful to use our little hash markings here on the underside of our bar. And what's great about those, that makes it really, really easy to start getting this aligned. I would always say double check yourself though. Have a handy tape measure on the side, measure your overhang. But once you're on even on both sides, we simply take our bolts here. We're going to need the right included hardware, and we can begin tightening them up. What can be helpful too, simply take your bracket, align it with your tool first, and then begin to thread it on. Once those are tightened down, your bars are ready to rock and roll. The one thing I'll say though, if we ever want to shift these up, we are going to need to loosen these bolts. So it can be helpful just to lightly set your bars in place and then actually slowly raise them up. How we can do that is by simply backing off all of our bolts here. Once all of those are released, you simply take your tower and walk it up. But like I said, let's make sure we're doing a good job of loosening these. Otherwise, that varying length of our bar is going to kind of pinch it and keep it in place. So we're having to loose it. That way that bracket can actually slide. And we can account for our different heights. Well, as we saw, that install really doesn't take too much time, and honestly I think it speaks to just kind of the ease of use that the OverHaul really lets you have. I love that I can actually change my positions for the variety of my different needs that might be approaching me in the future. Overall, it looks really good here in the Gladiator too. I love the length of bars that we had, not too wide, not too shallow, which is excellent, and I really think it's going to do an excellent job of helping us get all of our cargo wherever we need to go. One last thing I forgot to mention, we do have our little tie-off points here on the side, which are excellent, and one last little feature that always seals the deal for me, we do have a little bottle opener. That way we can enjoy our favorite beverage wherever we go, especially in those camping adventures. And yeah, guys, I think this is an awesome system. Love that quick connect as well. Makes it really easy to pop this off if you just need that full bed space for your really big items that you're throwing in here. But again, I think with that height on there, it's almost a null factor, but I do love that we have the option. Otherwise, I think that about does it for our look here today at the Yakima OverHaul system here on our 2020 Jeep Gladiator. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.